Hey everybody, welcome to another good e-reader review video. My name is Michael.
This is Peter.
Today we are going to give you a comprehensive hands-on review of the Acer Iconia W3. This is one of the company's few fully featured Windows 8 tablets, and it has Windows 8 Pro, so you have your dedicated Windows 8 apps that you see here, but you can also go to your main desktop and install legacy apps, so StarCraft, Steam, whatever that you want, your business apps, Microsoft Office, etc. It retails for about $369 in Canada. The price may fluctuate depending on what international market you're on. It's an 8.1-inch display. The resolution is 1280 by 800. There's a dual-core 1.8 gigahertz processor in conjunction with 2 gigs of RAM. You have 2 megapixel front-facing camera and a 2 megapixel rear-facing camera, stereo speakers, and onboard graphics. So it doesn't have a dedicated video card. It's just basically on the motherboard itself. Peter, give us the 360.
Webcam and light sensor up front. Kind of a weird design to it because you have the black bezel, really thin white here, but then really thick white here for the button. And I understand why they didn't put the button on the bezel here, because there is a lot of gesture support, so I get that. The bottom, serial number. Then you have power button, micro USB, micro HDMI. You also have a microphone. You have a micro SD card, volume up and down. 3.5mm headphone jack, charging adapter, stereo speakers, which are very quiet, and the back of it, you have a camera, brushed metal type look, but it's plastic, with a Acer badge and a Windows 8 and Intel Inside stickers.
Okay, so one of the things that right away is the viewing angle. If you look at it like this,
it becomes almost you can't see it at all. It's literally gone. Whereas like most Apple products, you can tilt them almost 180 degrees to your face, and you'd still probably be able to see it. So. Apple products,
yeah, if you look at, say, like an iPhone, you can look at it on most viewing angles and still see.
Right. So
now,
it's a lot better by the naked
eye. This is just a point of reference.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean that's the one thing. If I look at it on just a skewed perspective, with the studio lights off and everything, just the viewing angle is probably the weakest thing, and most people tend to agree with me. So one of the reasons why an SD card is important is because when it's all said and done, you really don't have a lot of memory to play around with. After the operating system and all the apps are pre-installed, you roughly have about what?
Well, we have, after updates, essential updates, we have 8.23 gigabytes free. Now, this is only with us downloading maybe 1 or 2 apps, and then that's it. Everything else is just what comes with it. So although it's advertised as a 32 gigabyte, you only get about 10.
Yeah, savvy users could disable apps, could do partitions like they did with the Surface to get more space. We're not going to go into that here, but suffice to say, when you get this out of the box, you have roughly about 8 gigs of storage, so that 32 gig micro SD becomes important. We have a few apps that we installed ourselves, but Acer has some apps that were bundled with it. Skype, MS Office, Britannica, the Acer Crystal Eye, which is a camera app, gives you effects and things like that. Acer Cloud, we're not going to show you too much about it, but suffice to say, if you're familiar with the Apple way of doing things, where if you take a picture on your iPhone, automatically appears on your MacBook Air via iCloud or on your PC. Acer Cloud works the same way, but you need Acer Cloud installed on, say, your PC, your Android tablet, and other type of operating system. So it works best for pictures, media, documentation, and things like that. And so it seems to be a very solid, avenue. But more tech-savvy people will probably go with like a Dropbox and things like that. But these are all pre-installed. You can easily uninstall them. And Acer obviously has other apps here that came pre-installed. TuneIn, Zinio, StumbleUpon, Acer Explorer, eBay, things like that. And then you have the ubiquitous Microsoft apps here. So you have your mail, your calendar, pictures, weather, and things like that. We haven't really configured this fully yet, but if you've never seen Windows 8 before, which by now most people have, you can kind of get a sense of some of the apps that are here. Now, the Windows 8 Marketplace actually has a ton of apps, and when we initially reviewed the Microsoft Surface RT and then the Microsoft Surface Pro, I feel that the Windows App Store has come along in leaps and bounds. There's a lot of quality content here that wasn't necessarily available within like the first week. For e-reader apps, we now have an official Nook app, and there's a ton of comic apps and things like that. There's a lot more higher quality games and things like that. So you have your Halo games. Some of the games are actually not too bad, and they're actually small and lightweight. For the most part, Windows 8 apps are very small compared to if you're installing like Far Cry 3 or Black Ops 2 on the legacy version. So you get a sense there. Now, let's take a look at some of the essential apps. Being a good e-reader, we want to put an emphasis on the reading experience, but we have done a full featured video on what it is like to read here. So we're not going to tread over old ground, but if you want to see how comics, magazines, newspapers, ebooks, and all of that jazz looks, check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/goodereader. Suffice to say, let's just quickly load up an ebook to give you a sense on how that looks.
So you can see here we're in 2-column spread. Single clicking now takes the role of long pressing on Android devices, and to get more options you would scroll the bottom up, and there you have your didn't click that, there you go. You can check, you can change your text here. You have to apply settings because nothing changes live, so pretty much the same experience. You're gonna get the same experience no matter what on any device with Kindle, because Kindle is always just gonna be Kindle. So you've seen this a million times, and if you haven't, you can watch all of our other 600 videos, and we pretty much show this at least 80% of the time.
Yeah, and I mean, we could show this, or we could show, hundreds of other e-reading apps, but most people recognize Amazon, so we show you this. And most of the times, these Windows 8 apps, when it comes to e-reading apps, none of them are really tremendously advanced. You know, if you have a Kindle Fire tablet, you're not going to get any of the cool features in any of their apps, but it seems Windows 8 seems to have the lowest priority for app innovation and app development when it comes to just e-reading apps, magazine apps, newspaper apps. It doesn't really seem like it gets the attention that it deserves. It seems the most of the development goes on for dedicated PC apps or iOS in general.
Right.
So let's just show you a quick game to let you know how this performs with just a run-of-the-mill casual Windows 8 game.
Now I must mention, this tablet gets hot. The screen is actually very hot right now, and it's quite bothersome, truthfully.
Do we have the volume up on this?
Volume is maxed.
And I don't hear anything.
You can see that it plays with ease though.
Yeah, graphics aren't too bad either for a casual game. So gamers may like this tablet for more casual games. One of the great things about Windows 8 is that there's no shortage of games now for this platform, but the real draw and allure is being able to run your legacy apps. So if you're a fan of MUDs, you can download ZMUD. If you're a fan of Steam games, you can download Steam and get all your casual games, all of your purchases from there, or you can simply just download random games from the internet. There's really nothing stopping you. You can think of this as an 8-inch tablet that is an extension of your home PC. Anything that you can install on your home PC using Windows 8, you can install on this tablet.
Absolutely.
And it goes from landscape to portrait mode fairly seamlessly, so you're not going to really you're not going to get any bad experiences. You're not locked per se to just like a landscape mode.
Of course not.
But some games like this game only work in landscape mode. Let's just show you how video looks, and we can give you a sense on how the audio experience looks as well.
Yes, I did make it myself. Thank you so much for asking.
So really the image quality is not bad. I
No,
mean,
it's
the
good.
resolution of the tablet's 1280 by 800 on an 8-inch tablet. I mean, that is fairly solid. It's not. We've seen some pretty woeful tablets, 7 and 8 inches in the
Right.
past, and this is probably in the mid-range in terms of resolution. But the real allure is the price. $350 in most markets. The speaker quality, I think,
Awful. I'm
It-
sorry, but it is quiet. It's not very crisp. Doesn't fill the room. I mean, you end up tilting your head and drawing your head closer to the tablet just to make out what they're saying, and that's at full volume. It's not very good. It's just not all there.
yeah. So the cons. Speaker quality, even if you have it maxed, it's not very loud. The viewing angle, very weak, and it gets hot really fast.
Yeah.
If you can go beyond that, $350 for a fully featured Windows 8 tablet is awesome.
Yeah.
And I really do hope that we see more of these. I know Microsoft has cut about $100 from its price of its Surface Pro tablet. I think it's about $450 now, which makes it fairly viable. But the company just actually did announce that they lost $900 million on Microsoft Surfaces because they made too many and they didn't sell enough. So
Super.
it's all a matter of price. You know, people these days, if they're going to spend $500-600 on a tablet, for the most part, they're going to get iPads, and this leaves room for the under $350 price tag for what type of bang for a buck can I get for my money. And for the most part, all we do see is Android tablets, Android,
Right.
Android everywhere. And it's not too often that new Windows 8 tablets come out that are economically priced and have a wide availability from a company like Acer, who's been in a tablet game almost from the very beginning. So you've seen a store, you've seen a game, you've seen Netflix, you've seen an ebook, and we've told you a little bit about the Acer Cloud. If you have any ideas for things that we maybe have not mentioned, please let us know. In a future video, we're actually going to show you how a legacy app works. So we're going to fire up good old StarCraft 3 Heart of the Swarm, and we're going to show you how a legacy game runs on this tablet, but that's in a future video by itself. So for a review of the Acer Iconia W3 for GoodEreader.com, my name is Michael.
This is Peter.
Everybody take care.